Velma is the show everyone is talking about because it is one of the worst pieces of entertainment ever created. Everyone seems to hate the first season, yet HBO isn't giving up on it yet because they have officially greenlit a season 2 and the creative team is actively working on it. I have a bunch of things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month or support the channel via YouTube memberships. So, as you can see, I'm going to start off with the CBR article. Velma creative team is actively working on season 2, and this show didn't even deserve a season 1. It was so terrible, let alone a season 2. It says creatives behind the HBO Max animated series Velma are working behind the scenes to bring season 2 of the show to light as reports confirm it's an active development. Now, honestly, this isn't really surprising. It obviously took a lot of heat, it faced a lot of backlash, but HBO did say that it did get them views. It was the, most watched premiere for an HBO animated, even though on that list there are only 4 other competitors for Velma. So yeah, I mean, they knew that this show was going to get decent views, even if it was a disaster, because it's Scooby-Doo. They have a fan base with millions of people around the world who would at least give this a shot, even if it's only 2 or 3 episodes, because of course it's Velma. It says the chairperson of Warner Brothers Television confirmed in an interview with Deadline that her team is working on season 2 of the adult animated comedy series. The admission follows up Velma's listing on the Entertainment Identifier Registry, which shows a 2023 premiere window for season 2. Now, I had talked about this a couple of weeks ago, actually almost a month ago, because yes, Velma season 2 was actually listed on the EIDR list, meaning that they had plans even before the show came out to make another season, which of course sounds ridiculous now that we've actually seen how terrible this series is, but this wasn't something that they just planned on. It's not like they saw all of this backlash, they saw the viewership and said, you know what, we're gonna stick it to the haters and we're gonna make another season, because they had to have planned this from the very beginning, and that is what I have said since I started talking about Velma. It seemed like they really wanted this to pick up, and they, right off the bat, had greenlit multiple seasons. Maybe there's only 2 seasons and they contracted everybody for 2 seasons. There's even been a rumor that they had one giant season and they actually split it up, and that is what season 2 is going to be. It's basically going to be the second half of all of the content they created, but that wouldn't make a lot of sense if the creatives are actively working on it. That would only make sense if they basically had just said, you know what, we've got more content that we didn't put out in season 1 that we're gonna put out in another season. But either way, I've seen a lot of people on social media claim that they're only doing a season 2 because of hate watchers, but that's just not true. Again, they've had this season planned for a very long time at this point, it seems. They're not doing this just to stick it to the haters. It would be funny and pretty pathetic if they did, but it just seems like this was their plan from the very beginning. And again, they knew that this show was going to get views, even if it was god-awful, because of Scooby-Doo fans. Even though this doesn't have Scooby-Doo, it's still got a lot of the named characters that you know and love from the franchise. And this show honestly doesn't even deserve a second season. I usually say, hey, this content isn't for me, but it's for someone. Someone out there likes it, so I'm not gonna say it deserves to be canceled, but this show deserves to be canceled. It is awful. It is one of the worst pieces of content that I have seen in a very long time. And even though it only released in January of 2023, it is definitely going to be one of the worst pieces of content to release for the whole entire year. It talks, though, about Velma's divisive debut. Velma garnered immediate success for HBO Max upon its release, becoming the biggest premiere for any animated series in the streaming service's history. Again, there are only 4 other series that it had for competition. 2 of them were unknown. One of them was a satire of the royal family that didn't do as good as they expected. And then there was Santa Inc., one of the worst shows to release as well that I've ever seen. So HBO Max really doesn't know how to make good animated originals, though it says while capitalizing on its early viewership for season 2 is understandable, Velma also has a lot of critics to prove wrong considering how polarizing season 1 has been. I mean, judging by the user scores, nobody wants this show to exist. 42% critic, which of course is pretty generous in my opinion. It does not deserve that, but a 7% audience score, and now it is in the top 3 worst rated shows on IMDb ever, just further proving that people really dislike this series. I don't see any way that HBO would make another season of this unless they already had the content or unless they had already previously planned to make it, because judging by these user scores, there's nothing that would get renewed at a 7% or a 1.3 out of 10. It also talks about Mindy Kaling, saying Velma features the Office alum Mindy as Velma Dinkley, who was made popular in the classic Scooby-Doo animated series. Serving as an origin story for how Mystery Inc. formed, Velma reimagines its character as being of South Asian descent, leading to some critics accusing the show of stereotypes against South Asian women, and of course they decided to race swap other characters as well. This is just one criticism to add to the pile of criticisms, but the problem is that the content that is here, writing-wise, isn't good. Animation-wise, it's not all that stunning. So this is like just another problem with this series to add to the pile. It also talks about how the season 1 finale of Velma aired on February 9th, revealing who was the Crystal Cove serial killer and evolving its core cast. Spoiler alert! And it ended up being Fred's mom, who had almost no role in the entire series, and they led you to believe that it was Velma's mother the entire time, which was just, again, awful writing. And overall, this show is just god-awful. It doesn't deserve a season 2. It didn't even deserve a season 1. And now it seems like HBO Max is sticking with this series and they're gonna make another season of it. We'll have to see if Mindy Kaling is going to continue to voice the character, if she is going to be part of the creative team as well, like she was in season 1, because she has recently deleted many tweets about Velma and how she's voicing the character and how she, is part of the creative team. So only time will tell there. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video and found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.